that sometimes we get overwhelmed. Has anybody ever had that where you like honestly, I feel a little bad for you guys, although you guys are tech savvy, because here at the school we have what Google Classroom. I use Moodle. The science department uses what's the science department one? WebAssign, right? And then you guys have your different labs that have to go online for different vocational things, and then there's just a lot, right? And then sometimes like the apps on the phone that are available to you, plus the technology that's out there. Like my sister loves using Chick-fil-A, but then she gets upset when things don't work right for Chick-fil-A automatic pickup. Right? Oh, I put it in the order and they mess it up. Well, allow for human error, right? And then going to a lot of fast food places now have gone with the kiosks. So you can walk in, you can talk to somebody, or just use the kiosk. So there's all these new things. I actually was reading an article a while back, and it was kind of interesting the perspective. Going back to on there on the letter C, increased knowledge. One of the things that the article said, which I can kind of get on board with, and some of you guys might agree with me on this. You don't have to. Is we are not necessarily smarter. We just have access to more information. Because if I were to ask you guys a question, and it happens in my government class all the time, because Mondays I typically do current events, and I'll say, "So, anybody got any current events?" And inevitably, three or four of my students go right to their phone. They pull up like the news articles, and like, yeah, so and so. And then I ask them about the article. They're like, "Oh no, I just saw the headline. I have no idea what it says." I mean, how much stuff do we have access to? Going back to what I said about YouTube, how many times have you fixed something? Like this morning, I have. You guys may have seen it yesterday or this morning when I was popping through the videos. There's links that aren't working that used to work with my PowerPoint and online videos that I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Part of it, who in here knows that Internet Explorer is no longer available? It's gone. So if you have an Internet Explorer icon on your computer, it'll probably go white if you're on a PC, or it'll disappear on a Mac. Because now it's what's the news? What's the new one? It's Edge. Yes, thank you. It's supposed to be better, but because they've switched over, and we are, it's just all sorts of. But I was online this morning trying to find the answers to this problem. So rather than contacting the tech department, I'll just figure it out myself. Right? Better time management. What do you guys think? Do we, because of technology, do we have better time management? I would argue we are the exact same place we were before we had. Because I think we all get used to stuff. I think some people, who in here does have like alarms on their phone for either waking up or for assignments or for stuff like that. So here's a fun one. This on the side of I didn't know something technology wise. Um, Outlook sent me an invitation to a meeting this morning. I'm not sure if you guys saw my face when she came in and was like, you have to be at a meeting right now. I was like, what meeting? I had no idea because there was a meeting I accepted on Outlook last month, but no one sent me a reminder, so I didn't put it in. So, anyways, um, I think we have access to knowledge, increased productivity. What do you think about that? With more tools, more stuff, how fast we get things potentially. Um, I think the technology to create stuff is much more productive. We could do things faster just because machines are better. Has anybody ever watched the How It's Made series, or if you're on like YouTube and you follow like how they sometimes the stuff that they're making is cool, but I'm always amazed at the machines that they have invented to make this stuff go so fast. It's always really really cool. Um, yeah. All right. So capital really can help us make things faster and better, more productive. The nice thing too is if I am using you guys more wisely, I can save money as the owner of a company, right? So I don't need to have you waste time. Who in here does a digital login for going to work now? Like you just either you scan something or you just as you like you just type in your social security, the last six digits or something like that, right? Who in here still has a punch card that you have to punch in, right? Because punch cards used to be the way to go. And then if I was the person in charge of paying you, I have to take your punch card, figure out how many hours you were actually in, do physical math. Now it's just digital. And they go, oh, Excel spreadsheet or this new Quicken or whatever tells me that I'm paying you for 5 hours of work. Easy peasy. right? And now we have systems that actually make the checks for you and print the checks out for you. Or who in here has direct deposit, right? And lots of banks, lots of companies like direct deposit. One, it's less waste of paper. Two, the bank sometimes will give you a perk, or the company will give you, like I know that for me, I can have things pulled out, like my mortgage is automatically pulled out. I don't have to write a check. It just automatically goes out. So all this technology does make my life. I introduced my mom to online checking a while back, and she's like, "Wait, I can do all this without writing checks? Just type the number in and send it." And she's like, "No way!" All right. So on a fun note, in regards to technology, this is sadly this gentleman is a persona non grata, meaning not very very well liked. He did a couple things that socially are not acceptable, and he has kind of been ousted from his position as a comedian. But it's Louis C.K. And this is an old video, but it's really kind of funny because it talks about technology.
Back then, yeah. Those were simpler times, I think. I just feel like we may be going back to that, by the way. But in a way, good.
So kitty litter recycled, soap recycled. So I looked this up because I was curious. I'm not sure if I would ever want to buy recycled soap. But from what I understand, some of the big hotel chains, so like Hilton, Holiday Inn, the Marriott's, they'll take those used soaps and they'll donate them to a company that basically breaks them down again, sanitizes them, makes them into soaps, and then they send them to like third world countries that are struggling. So it's not something that you would typically see on the shelves in the U.S., but they'll send them over and donate reuse soap to like Ethiopia. Right? Um, Asphalt is a big one. Anybody have within like the last 10 years your football fields or your baseball fields redone with some sort of asphalt on it or the rubberized, or if you've ever been to a park that has the newest, like they got rid of all of the wood chips because they were giving kids splinters. Now they're like chopping up tires really small and fine and putting those in. So that's a big one. Trophies, a lot of the down, the comforters, all that stuff, the insides, um, parts, car parts, melting down old stuff, creating the new stuff. Tennis balls, rubber, lots of rubber stuff you can redo. Playgrounds. My dad actually works with companies that recycle the plastic. They just chip it up. I'm not sure if you guys know. It's like particles or like really really small particles, and they just chip up the old stuff and they repurpose it into new. So the harder plastics are used. The plastic bags I think can be recycled like up to 10 times, and then they're done. Then they won't reconstitute. The bats, some of the fiberglass stuff that they use in there, bricks. Sorry, sleeping bags, same thing. The insides of the down of the a lot of those cardboard egg cartons, coffins. I saw that look. Right, they like who in here just thought that they dumped the body and they used the same coffin for somebody else? Because I know that's where I went when I first saw this. I was like, wait, what are they? I don't know. Recycled stuff to make the coffin. So it's like plastics and because I was like, dump the body. We'll use this one again. Yeah. Again, seats like that, and then toothbrushes. Oh, look, I got another face from that. A couple people went, wait, what? So not the bristles, but this part would be recycled. That's so gross. You're like, eh. Um, yeah. So even water now, there's a lot of the water plants are recycling the water. So like when you, this is those kind of disgusting part. One of the reasons why we like chloride and chlorine and fluoride and all those different things is they'll actually run it through. I watched ironically or coincidentally a YouTube video that went through the whole process of sanitizing our waste and then putting it back in the water back into our system. Now we're a little bit better off because we have Lake Erie to pull from. So when you guys get your water in Medina, we're actually pulling it from Erie down this way. If you go down to Columbus, they're actually pulling it from the south. It's coming from Ohio River up to Columbus, where we get it from Erie. So yeah, we recycle a lot of our waste. You guys have ever driven through North Royalton? There's a recycling or there's a waste plants, and every once in a while, if you drive past at just the right time when they've released some of the methane, ooh, nasty. All right, we'll stop there.